dear traders, my name is Ekaterina Gorbatenko and you are watching the daily trading plan for the 20th of March by FBS. At first, let's consider the economic calendar. We can see that the first release for today is the level of CPI for Great Britain. According to the forecast, the level of consumer inflation will remain at the same level. If the actual figures are higher than the expectations, the GDP will rise. Also, don't forget to pay attention to the Brexit headlines. Up to now, the British Prime Minister is seeking for an extension of the Brexit process. According to the latest news, the European Union ministers will meet next week to finalize the Brexit extension. In case of more certainty, the GBP will be supported. The most important event for today is, of course, the Federal Open Market Committee statement at 80 MetaTrader time. We won't see a rate hike this time, as the Fed is expected to keep its patient approach concerning interest rates. However, the tone of the Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the outlines of the statement may shake the greenback today. Also keep an eye on the projections of the future rate hikes in the dot plot. During the late trading hours, New Zealand will release its quarterly GDP growth. According to the forecast, the indicator will advance by 6 basis points. The higher than expected level will push the kiwi higher. Let's not forget about the oil. The release of crude oil inventories is anticipated at 16:30 MetaTrader time. Analysts expect an increase in the number of barrels. If the actual level is lower, the prices for oil will rise. Now let's look at the charts. At first, let's consider the daily chart of GBP USD. On the daily chart, we can see that the mixed trading resulted in dodgy candlestick yesterday. At the moment, bears are moving the pair down and trying to break the weekly pivot support at 132.10 on the news about the possible short extension in Brexit. The next key level is placed at the weekly pivot support at 130.39. If pulls get stronger, the GBP will rise to the 133.50 level. If we look at indicators, parabolic SAR shows an upward movement here, and ADX shows bears are gaining strength. Now let's consider the 4-hour chart. We can see that the pair is currently testing the weekly pivot support at 132.10. If it managed to break this level, the pair will fall lower to the support at 131.26. Otherwise, if bulls take over the market, the pair will rise to the resistance at 132.97. If this level is broken, the next resistance will lie at 133.80. Now let's look at the daily chart of Euro USD. The pair has been testing the 100-day and 50-day simple moving averages for 2 days in a row. The main focus for the pair will be on the Federal Open Market Committee statement today. If the Fed Chair Jerome Powell supports the USD, the pair will fall to the support at 113.15. If it manages to break this level, the next support will lie at the weekly pivot at 112.96. Otherwise, if the USD weakens, we may see the rise towards the resistance at 113.72. The next key level lies at 114.20. From the technical side, parabolic SAR shows an upward movement for the pair, and ADX shows bulls gaining strength. Now let's consider the 4-hour chart. We can see that the pair has been trading sideways between the 113.24 and 113.62 levels. If the USD gets stronger, the 113.24 level will be broken and the pair will fall to the next support at 112.96. The next support lies at 112.81. Otherwise, if the Fed fails to support the USD today and more dovish comments are released, the pair will rise to the resistance at 113.62. The next resistance for the pair lies at 113.72, and if these levels are broken, we may focus on the next resistance and the weekly pivot at 114.20. Now let's look at the key levels for New Zealand dollar. We can see that the pair has been trading sideways. Up to now, it's testing the support at the weekly pivot at 0.6835. If this level is broken, the next support will lie at 0.6797. Otherwise, if today's release supports the kiwi, the pair will manage to retest the resistance at the weekly pivot at 0.6879. If it breaks this level, it will target the next resistance at the weekly pivot at 0.6918. If we look at indicators, parabolic SAR also shows here an upward movement, and ADX shows equal balance of strength between bulls and bears, as the pair is trading sideways. Now let's look at the 4-hour chart. Here we can see that the pair has already stuck above the weekly pivot at 0.6835 and the 50 period moving average. If it continues to strengthen, the next resistance will lie at 0.6852. If bulls are strong enough, the next resistance will lie at 0.6870, and the break of this level will push the pair even higher to the resistance at 0.6879. Otherwise, if today's release of the GDP growth disappoints the kiwi, the pair will fall below the weekly pivot to the support at 0.6828. The next support lies at 0.6810. Now let's look at the daily chart of oil. At first, let's consider the chart of Brent. We can see that the price for Brent has been trading with a very low volatility. If today's release of crude oil inventories will show an increase in the number of barrels, we may see the price for Brent to fall to the weekly pivot at 66.92. The next support lies at 65.72. Otherwise, if the actual level of crude oil inventories will show a decline in the number of barrels, we may see the price for Brent to retest the resistance at 68.22 and target the next resistance at 69.42. Now let's look at the key levels for WTI. As we can see, it has already tested the resistance at 59.51, but failed to stick higher and moved down to the support at 57.77. As with Brent, if today's release disappoints bulls, the price for WTI will fall, will test the support at 57.77, and if this level is broken, the next support lies at 56.61. Otherwise, if bulls appreciate the release of the crude oil inventories, they will try to break the resistance at 59.51 and target the next resistance at 60.67. Thank you for your attention. Follow FBS for more analytics.